Hey guys, Alex Corey here with cultivatedchange.com. I am playing out in the garden today because it's about 50 degrees and it's February, so we need to start doing some bed prep. And I just wanted to go over a topic that I always forget to account for. So I leave crops in the ground, like there are beets right here that I didn't experiment with and I overwintered. You can see those. And there are some beets in here that I can pull out. Some that are worthwhile, this guy, but for the most part, if you can see, I'm gonna have to rip those out. Now, I like to use green manure, which is basically just turning any old crop like that into the soil and just letting it rot, using it for organic matter as a living compost. Now, the thing I always forget to account for is if I'm going to transplant or direct seed into that bed. So the beets, this side of the garden, about this half, these 3 beds in front of me, if you can see there-ish, these 3 beds have the most sunlight. It doesn't matter in the summer because the sun's at its zenith, but in the spring I need that sunlight. So the beds where I am right now, I am going to transplant because all the transplants will need the most sun. That's the broccolis, cauliflowers, collards, all the big greens, the ones that can stay in for 3 months or so. So these rows, I'm going to pick the big overwintered beets out and then just iron rake them into the soil. I'll do a video of that when it happens. But if you're transplanting, it doesn't matter if the roots run into organic clumps of something. You can move your transplant a ½ inch or so. The problem I run into, I'll show you over here, is whenever I do a bed of arugula that I let go or something like that. So this, because there are so many leaves and roots, I will have to pull this out because most of my spring crops are direct seeded, meaning I'm just going to put some fertilizer down, put a nice layer of compost on it, and put seeds in. Some of the seeds have to go in a ½ inch. Now for the lettuces and the arugulas that are only a ¼ inch or an 1/8 of an inch down, you can just spread a nice layer of compost on the top and direct seed right into that. But for anything that needs a little further down, I don't want to be dragging a line in the soil and be pulling up roots as I go. It's just not worth the extra time. So for these things, any big leafy matter, I will have to rip out, throw in my compost pile, and it'll be used as compost in my fall garden 6 months from now. But I always forget to account for that. So if you have any bulky matter, if you can, green manure is the way to go. So just till it under. And I will do that now rather than when I direct seed in beginning of March, because I like to let the soil microbiome establish itself prior to me doing anything with it. Meaning most of the fertilizer I put down takes a while to get into the soil because it's not super water soluble, and most of the seeds that I put down are quicker growing. So I want the soil biology to be ready immediately when I put the seeds or the transplants in. Some people will do a full bed prep the same day that they seed, if that's your only option and if that's what you have the time for sure. But since I have a couple of weeks to play with before things go in the ground, I will turn over all the beds now and then let everything sit and reestablish itself, so when I put something in the ground, root system can colonize quickly because the microbes will already be there and the nutrients will already be there. I might cover it with something like a tarp just to keep the elements off of it, but I'll give you guys updates as I start flipping beds over. Until next time.